button way before it even tells you that it's doing it.
Oh, well.
So it's one of those situations where, you need to just keep talking, because if you're just sitting there looking at the screen waiting for it to do something, it's
not going to. Oh,
no, it just seems like it's not doing anything. Hi, everybody. We are now live on a Wednesday night. It's October 18th. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to where I can actually see the chat room too, because I have to leave the screen that it gives me and go over to another screen and then get the chat going. It's just, these things are just not that easy. They want us to waste as much time as possible, navigating around. And
right.
I see through all of his little tricks. I'm like, this is always going to be the challenge. All right, let me go in here. Live stream is on, and I got to turn off the sound because it'll start overlaying and stuff. Does all kinds of things. Okay, cool. Well, we don't have anybody watching just yet, except myself, I guess.
That's okay.
Nobody's in the chat. Well, we're just going to sit here. Yeah, we're just going to sit here and have our conversation. So, I'm looking into these different modalities of online payments. And let me tell you, it's tough to try to find something that's not going to be centralized. Hi, Mickey King. Mickey King is saying hello to us.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, Kara, if you go on to YouTube and you go to my channel and you go hit the live tab that's across the page, or there should be somewhere. Just go to my actual entire page, the channel, and then click the live tab, and then you'll be able to see the chat box there.
My glasses, hang on.
No, right. This is what happens when we start getting a little bit. Listen, I've started using my glasses when I read now.
And this is if I don't beat my dog first.
No, don't do that.
Everything.
Don't beat the dog. Let the dog.
Don't beat the dog.
He can be part of the show. You can just let him be part of, in the lap and just hanging out.
If he got in my lap, he'd probably.
You're so funny. You're so funny. Yeah. So, anyhow, I'm looking into all these online payment systems because, at some point we need to try to find something that's going to be beneficial if people want to donate. But the problem is, I denounced PayPal, and a lot of my subscribers already know that, because they stole money from my actual checking account and they would not put it back. They refused. The people who worked there said they couldn't do that. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I had to.
I remember that whole fiasco you had.
And my bank had to do an investigation because I labeled them as doing a fraud on my account, and my bank refunded my money. So I disconnected my bank account from PayPal because I was like, you know what? I am not dealing with this thievery. This is ugly. This is kind of the deception that we're going to be dealing with in the future. And this is not the entire subject that we're going to talk about tonight. But so after denouncing PayPal, they still have $800 in that account. And if I go tap into that, guess what? That makes me a thief. And I can't do that because of spiritual implications. So I just completely ignore it. I can't shut down that account because there is money in the account, which is just ridiculous at this point.
That is ridiculous.
Nothing I do will make them do anything. Even one of the CEOs or somebody out in California had contacted me. One of these top level people supposedly contacted me and, said the same exact stuff that all of these other little people were saying, is that, oh, well, yeah, we're sorry that this has happened, but we can't access those funds at all, and we can't refund the money the way it should have been done. I'm like, does this make any sense to anybody?
It does not make any sense.
So that's why I'm like, I'm very cautious with using all this online stuff, because guess what? I've experienced nothing but like a challenge with all of this online stuff.
Mhm.
You guys should see what I have to do just to go try to respond to comments. I have to go on an Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, I don't even see them in here, but
Now
yeah.
I'm going to, so in my channel, when I put out a video, I'm supposed to get notified whenever there's a comment, like via email, because I have that set up that way. But it doesn't always notify me. So when I go on my channel and go to the actual video and look at the comments, sometimes there's some there. But then if I go deeper into my channel and go into my YouTube studio, then click on the comments, little sidebar button, then there'll be comments that I don't even know are even there. Like it's hiding
That's weird.
stuff everywhere. This is what it does to waste your time. I've noticed this on more than just one platform. This goes for Facebook. They are trying to like keep us held back in time.
Well, and think about that for a second. It's also not only doing that, but it's frustrating you. And so you're giving off that energy that
yes. Yes. We are dealing with darkness when we're dealing with any of this technology. And y'all, I'm just like, I am exasperated, but I refuse to give away my entire consciousness.
Have you thought about like doing some sort of like a blessing or something like that before you get started on any electronics, or burning incense, or just out of curiosity?
I do that, but still, here's the thing. And it's not just about that. It's about the way these platforms are set up so that we'll waste more of our precious time. Time is important. We're actually supposed to be working on spiritual things. This is what I'm learning as I'm going along. I'm like, oh my gosh, all these distractions are keeping us from going within. Like the way the world is set up, it keeps us from knowing who we truly are and what we can truly do with our form.
Well, when you're frustrated, you're definitely not going to want to sit down and, do the things that you need to do to elevate your spirituality. I don't know if you remember, and I'm sure you have watched this video. It was on Rex Bears with Ra Castaldo, Leak Project. Ra Castaldo was on there as a guest, and he was talking about the electronics when he was a kid, and it like was beckoning him somehow. And I remember him saying that it told him, bite the wires, because he actually ran into a kid who had scars across his face from biting the wires when he was a child. And so, you think that these things are benign and they're nothing, but why is it called Ethernet? Why? Or internet also, or the Ethernet cable, ether. You got to think about all of these things. The World Wide Web. We need to look into the etymology also, and it basically tells you whether something is good or bad. If you know it's bad, just like this technology that we have, but unfortunately we have to use it.
Yes, I know.
So then that brings us to, what can we do as people to make the experience a little less toxic for us?
Yeah, well, it's really about starting communities of people, where you are. Now, I would love to be able to travel to different areas of the world and talk with my subscribers and meet with people of like mind. This is like a dream, to be able to do something like that. But financially, to be able to support that, obviously.
Not going to happen.
I'm not there yet.
I shouldn't say that. I'm putting out the negativity, but.
No, but I do feel there's something good coming. I know there's something good coming. I just know it. But at the same time, we have to be careful. This is where this whole Great Awakening truly needs to be interpreted, is with this deceptive technology that we're embracing. It is going to be very important for us to be able to discern what we're giving our consciousness to. Because when you find out, there's the Kabbalion. And if you guys don't know about the Kabbalion, please go read into that great work of Hermeticism, because it basically states what this universe is all about. And it's all about consciousness. Everything has a consciousness, even the seemingly things that are dead or just constructed from man. We have given our consciousness into that item. And this entire construct is a dense holographic dream.
Really quick, for those of you who don't believe that inanimate objects don't have a consciousness, I want to give you an example. So if you have a piece of furniture that is important to you, that when you're around it, it makes you feel a certain way, that furniture is giving off vibrations to you that your body or your spirit is recognizing in some way. I need to stop saying I noticed that on the last video I said.
Oh, it's all right.
Probably irritates people. Anyway, they have found that the atoms are constantly moving. That's a scientific fact. And, when things are in motion, it gives off vibration. And so, again, that's something that, if you don't believe it, how do you feel when you walk into a room or a particular area? Everything is vibrating. Everything gives off an energy. Nothing is motionless.
Yes, this is where this whole radionics comes into play. So the science of radionics will actually describe that everything's radiating with a field of energy, and it's either beneficial or harmful to life. And these different energies can absorb other energies. Just like if you were to put a heavily perfumed substance next to your food is going to start tasting like that heavily perfumed item. It is disgusting, because I noticed that a long time ago, and I never really thought about it then because I wasn't, as awakened and informed as I am now. But these energies are constantly crossing over into other substances. And when you're sitting in a field of energy like what we do now in our homes, our modern day homes are killing us.
They really
They're
are.
literally cubes. We live in cube-shaped houses, which, I go in my house, the first thing I do is I get sleepy, because it's Saturn's realm. I feel relaxed, but at the same time, I can sleep very easily being inside. But the moment I go outside in the sun, I feel electrified and energized because I'm in that field of light energy, which is fire. This is the fire and air principle that you've just stepped into. This is why the 4 elements of alchemy. I'm going to do another alchemy video, because as we truly learn about the foundations of this reality, we gain more insight into the problems that are around us and how to solve them. So,
I want to talk for a second about what you said about the house and how they're killing us. So there's something called Vastu, or if you look into the Indian, as in India, building techniques, they structure, temples are structured this way. I won't say temples are structured this way. A lot of their buildings, there's a builder I want to say it's in Ohio, because there's an Ayurvedic school there. I'm not positive it's in Ohio, but anyway, he is helping people build their houses so that the energy is beneficial to their body. I'm going to let you know something really simple. So if something is a dome shaped, so for instance, I believe it's the Jefferson Monument in Washington, D.C. It's just a dome. Okay, you go in there, those energies are very, very detrimental to your health.
Wow.
Now, if you were to put something on top of on top of that dome, like a steeple or a cross or something, it changes the energy and makes it beneficial. So that's why oftentimes you're going to see on top of spires, on top of, a lot of ancient architecture had those, they're like antennas. And that's exactly what they are. It changes the energy structure to be helpful to your body. And I think I sent this to you a long time ago. I can't remember this guy's name. I have his book.
I'm going to share screen.
He wrote a book called The Power of, there you go.
There they are.
Exactly. Now pull up the Jefferson Monument. Anyway, this guy, he wrote a book called The Power of Tattoos. And I was reading in there you go. See the dome? Those are very detrimental energies, because there's nothing on top to change it into a beneficial energy stream.
Do you think that maybe something was there originally? Because we don't know what the top actually looks like.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Because they've gone around removing a lot of the infrastructure from, these are actually Atlantean buildings. This is Atlantis and Lemuria were the two foundational continents.
So I want you to notice something really quick. So what this guy wrote, he wrote the book called The Power of Tattoos, and we can get into that at a later time. But basically, when people walk through doorways and they're just a doorway, oftentimes it puts off an energy that's called negative green.
Mm-hmm.
That negative green, when it isn't directed properly, is very detrimental. Now, there's negative green that can be used for healing, like in cases of severe cancer, but that's for something else. Anyway, when you walk through doors, you know how when you go from one room to another and all of a sudden you forget why you came into that room?
Yes.
It's because you were blasted with that energy. To correct that energy, it's very simple. Can you pull up a share screen and pull up like a Japanese temple? You know how the entrance will be, they'll have two pillars, but then it will bow gently up? Or have some sort of an over.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, show them, if you can, show them that. What that does, it corrects the energy so that it doesn't blast you with that negative. There it is. So where's okay, so pretend those, see how the pillars are? See how above the doorway, how it curves slightly and it goes beyond
it
the
has
threshold?
this right here. It kind of goes up.
Yep, it goes, so right in the middle there where it's dark, the dark part of the door, right there, up, the top part, right there. So see how that's over the door and it goes beyond the doorway? So if you were to put a trim above your doorway, that it doesn't have to necessarily be curved up, but in the Victorian houses and where they have the crown molding that extends beyond the doorway in different layers. So that corrects the energy. And so
it makes sense. And what's funny is I've been pondering painting Celtic doorway designs around my door frames because I want
you to do that then.
Because that even just painting something will change the radionic energy of it.
Absolutely, it will.
So, I mean, these are the things that I'm already aware of because of sigil magic and what you can do with sigils. So basically, our language, when we write, when scribe these things down, that's sigils. And honestly, when I look into, like I was just looking into the Sumerian language and also Aramaic yesterday. Well, it starts going back. You can see the evidence of it, not only crossing like into the Asian types of scribing, ways of scribing with the fire letters, but it even starts going back into Norse and quite possibly the Ogham language, the language of the trees. So, everything has a beginning somewhere. And I just wanted to see, like, what is the comparison? Because I know that the English language, based on all of the research and the scientists that are now saying stuff, the mathematicians, they're saying that English is the worst language that we could actually be speaking with our voice.
I've heard that. And it doesn't mean what it's supposed to mean. And, I think I told you, I wish I had my laptop here. I'm writing a manuscript, actually. I started it for my kids. I think I told you this, where I have a lot of this information in there. And when you look at the etymology, like bless, be less. So you can break it down that way.
Be less.
Or, and it's it actually means blood sacrifice.
Yeah, it's like bloodletting.
And so anyway, etymology, you could go for days on that. And if we were to learn the ancient languages, I think it'd be very beneficial. But if we just started talking in better to each other, more positively to each other, it will change the energy that we're putting out. If anybody's interested, I also do feng shui, vastu type of consultations for your house.
That's awesome.
Just, just throw that out there. I forgot.
Yeah,
to
we're
click.
going to do a trade then. You can do a feng shui consultation for me in my house while I give you the hypnosis session that you're looking for.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll trade. That's perfect. I love it. We could
We're
totally.
into barter, just in case you guys are into
Yeah.
that too. So, I did want to put that out. So we're going to talk about this because that's why I'm dressed up this way tonight. I did bring my tarot cards for anyone
good.
who wishes to participate in our tarot little journey that we're doing. We are offering tarot at a, whatever donation somebody wants to give. But also we have other modalities that we also offer, but that is a specific fee as opposed to the donation because it required much more to obtain the knowledge that we from the services that we do. So we have to, unfortunately, we have to require payment. Fortunately or unfortunately, I mean, I'm in that sort of mindset where I wish everybody was into exchanging everything, but we're not there yet in the world. So we actually do require, payment for our other services. I offer the past life regression sessions, and they are amazing. What comes out of people? Oh my gosh, I've been wanting to start another channel about that. But
I can't wait to try that.
Yeah, Kara actually offers some of
I do
her
astrology, and
Vedic
then I
astrology.
do like it's like remote healing with dowsing, and then obviously like the feng shui, vastu stuff.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
amazing. I also took the theta healing course because my friend teaches it, and so I had done a partial exchange with her because I had done some painting in her condominium, but yeah, so you guys who are probably not familiar with theta healing, it's basically like hermetics, and you can do remote healings on people. It's all about the mind. That's why it's important for us to start using our meditations and things. And one of my latest videos, Kara, I don't know if you know, I put out this information regarding the Rosicrucians that was on another channel, and it is profound.
I can't wait. I didn't watch that. I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, that one is really, really good. I mean, this is what we're aiming for because we must have our tools back. That's why the age of Aquarius, when you have the symbolism of the man pouring the water from the vessel for the age of Aquarius, he's pouring the waters of knowledge back into the collective consciousness so that we can have our tools for what's to come. In the future, we're going to be battling the metaverse. So we're going to need our metaphysical abilities, which is our innate abilities of knowing different things without, having the news try to tell us these lies. We're going to have all these abilities that awaken within us, even as we just progress through the other energies of people. We're one unit. So as one person and a group of people come online, guess what? That is going to pull us along as well because we're all connected.
Absolutely, we are.
So there's so much information. There's so much good information on that one channel. That channel is Sened. I don't really know how to pronounce the name. It's S-E, I'm going to type it in the chat, SEHNED. And it is profound. Like all of their different videos are very valuable. You guys can look that up on YouTube. There's a lot of good things you could actually, I've thought about this is taking some headphones and just listening to some of the videos play while I go to sleep. I haven't done it yet, but I want to because there's a lot of good information there.
That would be, yeah, I can't wait to check that out.
Yes, absolutely. So there is right now, currently, there is a class that is taking place. It started just 2 Tuesdays ago for the Zohar, which is Jewish mysticism. And the man teaches some Aramaic. Aramaic is one of our lost languages of using cymatic frequencies with our voice. It's a fire letter language. And if you don't know about fire letters, they're actually connected to our spirit. It's a spirit language. And that language allows us to create through the etheric principle directly. So that's a lot of good information. If you guys want to know, how to get onto the Zohar, the guy that's teaching the Zohar, just send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat. And I'll send you the link because it's on my computer somewhere. Because I wanted to sign up, but I kind of missed the boat because of this whole online payment thing that I'm trying to figure out.
You know, I want to get back to that for just a second. So I don't know if y'all realize the direction we are being pushed in. And if you recall, if you know anything about China, everything is controlled, absolutely everything. Now, keep in mind, some of it's beneficial. Their children are only allowed to watch 1 hour a week, I think it is, to be online in freedom, not freedom, but things that they want to watch. And so some of it's beneficial, but a lot of it isn't. And we're going to be required, that's what they want, us to be 100% controlled. And we need to say no. And it gets back to the payment, the cryptocurrency, the, what is it called? Where the government backed at a blockchain dollar. What is that?
Yeah, so there's different things. It's you've got the decentralized and centralized currencies that are coming. The decentralized is going to be a direct payment kind of system without a third party. And the centralized is going to be you got to go through the mainframe in order to pay your other person. So there's a third party involved in the transaction. And that's what we are under the auspices of right now in this country, is that we don't have an option to do decentralized anything, which is not good for us. We need our own ways of interacting directly from individual to individual.
Well, I think barter system is good, like you mentioned.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, for those of you who are fans of Bitcoin, I do believe that the idea is great, but it's my understanding that that was actually created by the CIA for us to get comfortable with cryptocurrency, for us to think that it's decentralized, for us to think that, you know, it isn't controlled, when in fact, all it is was laying the groundwork for what's coming.
And I don't remember the exact year. It was in I think it's either 1980s or 1970s. It came out, and you guys can go look this up, on one of the covers of The Economist magazine. They actually announced a Phoenix coin, the emergence of a Phoenix coin that was going to be a digital coin that would replace the dollar. You know, they were talking about this way back then, because you got to think about this. The banking cartel has been running the show with all this currency for the longest time. Like you can't even figure out how far back it goes, because it's just been this whole great deception that we need money to
really
survive.
Quick, there's a video by Robert Sepner, Sepner, and it's called 1666, and it will give you the history of the big banks, and it's quite mind-opening. So
yeah, I mean, we had that gold back system, you know, where our dollars were good for gold. And then this other corrupt system came in and they usurped that gold. I don't know why the people didn't rise up back then, but there's probably some big, you know, thing that made people look the other way. Hey, look that way while we take your gold. And then we had this fiat currency that was installed. So, you know, it's been ongoing, but this whole thing to do with material money and material items, and this has been part of our great deception. Now it's drug us into this man-made construct where we worship material goods over nature. And this is a big lie that we haven't figured out yet. But my pure mind can see right through this veil of illusion that all this material stuff is not making us happier.
They're doing everything they can to put us in a toxic environment, all the way down to our clothes and the shoes we wear. We're disconnecting from the earth. Polyester, most of our stuff is made from that, made from synthetics.
Yes.
And our skin, being our largest organ, is absorbing that, and it's toxic. Does it mean it's going to kill you? No. But the more toxicity your body has to fight off, the greater chance of you getting sick or even having a terminal illness. You know, we're being poisoned in a lot of different ways. And our choices, we have the choice whether or not to wear cotton or polyester. We have the choice to take off our shoes. We have the choice to go sit under a tree. not everybody has that choice, but, or, you know, out in the sand, what have you. And we need to start choosing better for ourselves.
Absolutely. So this is what I'm talking about with radionics. Like everything in this reality is connected.
Mhm.
And as everything is connected through this etheric principle, you know, it's affecting you in a quantitative manner that other people in the world are sick and dying or suffering from poverty. I mean, this is all coming back around affecting our field because it's one voice, it's one system.
Exactly. And you're exactly right. We are all connected. And when, you know, the person on the other side of the world is hurting, it's affecting us. And the planet is sick right now. There's so
Yes.
many trees that they're being burned. I have things in my yard that they're burned, and they're not well. And it's, you know, it's, I don't know if it's the stuff they're putting in I don't know what it is, but I think we can help with that. I really do. Do you want to talk for a second about sigils? Talk,
Yeah,
because
we can.
they're a form of radionics, and maybe
Yes.
you can tell people how to make a sigil and how it can help them. I
Yes.
forgot about that.
So
So
yes,
like when you're
sigil
painting
magic.
on the wall, like for
Yeah.
instance, you put
y-
something special underneath the paint and it's always there on your wall.
Yes,
No one can see it, but it's always radiating that special energy. Go
exactly.
ahead. Sorry.
No, that's what I did to the floor. When I painted the floor in my art studio, I put about a bunch of sigils and words to benefit the energy that was being emitted here in this building. So these are things that you can do. And on a daily basis, you know, you can just come up with stuff all the time. The thing about sigils is they work in the background of your world. Sigils work because we are creator beings and we're putting our consciousness into the magic and into these different designs. So a sigil is thus: you can actually just make a sentence, keep it short, keep it brief, but come up with something like, you know, I desire wealth or whatever. I mean, most people want to be wealthy, but it's not really the wealth that you want. It's you want the abilities. So let's just say I want, you know, all capabilities, just to keep it simple for this demonstration. So you'll write the letter I, and you're going to write out each letter, and you're going to make a design from the first letter. So you take the I and you write it out. Then you say, you know, I want my capabilities. You could write
Take out the vowels though, correct? You remove the
and
vowels.
you can use every letter, but what you do is when you come across the next letter that's a duplicate, you eliminate it. You can use all of it. This is going to be your way to play. It doesn't have to be this way or that. There's really no rules. It's just about creating a symbol or an image that represents a conscious thought that you desire. That's all that matters. So just coming up with an intricate design, and I can go and look it up and see if there's a website that has it.
Now keep in mind, guys, you know the branding on your clothing, like the Nike swoosh, and there are companies across the world that have symbols and brands, and those create power. Those are done with intention, and there's a lot behind it that you don't even realize. So if you, because Ellen, and you're really, really good at this because of your artistic eye, you can look at a company's logo and, you know, see the elements inside of it. But yeah, we can do that
Yes.
for ourselves so that we
Yes.
are giving positive energy to whatever it is we're trying to.
Because a logo is not necessarily an image. The logos was a sound. It was the word.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that these images that we create are actually sound frequencies that are reacting with our subconscious. So when these different corporations are creating their own sigils, which is a logo, they've made that to put out their magic energy and the intention that they wish to create. And you can do this yourself. So, and it's as easy as just, if you're not creative and you can't come up with your own like design, you can use the alphabet. That's how when you write a sentence, you can just start creating a design such as these with the different letters that you're using. And when you come across a duplicate letter, you just eliminate it because you've already got it in there. That way it's not making a huge mess. I've been using sigils on the bills that I receive and putting them on the envelopes and the checks. And I make a sigil for I do not consent. And I mail it back to them. And believe me, that magic is going to be working in the background of my world. So you guys can do this too. And just think about that, the things you don't consent to, or the things that you want to manifest, just make it up.
Yeah. Make something for protection, make something to radiate love, make something, it could be even as simple as a heart, as long as you put intention behind it and it means something to you. That's all that really matters, because you're driving your energy into that symbol.
Yes. So everything we're talking about tonight is nothing but pure knowledge. And I want to talk about this symbol right here that everybody's so afraid of. This pentagram is actually, it represents the 4 elements in alchemy plus the etheric principle. And it is nothing more than knowledge to know about these things. This one over here is actually the elven star. It's supposed to bring about a beneficial energy because it has 7, which is the 7 planetary bodies and 7 Elohim. So all these numbers are connected to specific vibrational frequencies. And that's what we need to know about this type of stuff. When we're talking about sacred geometry and stuff like that, it's all knowledge, and pure knowledge was lost, and people were made to be fearful of that knowledge. So that's why, we have this whole society that's just like, oh my gosh, that's demon worship. No, it's got nothing to do with that.
Well, keep in mind, things can be used for good or bad. If there's, evil worshipers making evil sigils and those sigils are radiating evil energy, yes, that exists. Does it mean every sigil is evil? Absolutely not. This world is a duality, and we need to start exerting our own personal, loving, kind power and putting that out there, because the darkness has been reigning for, we need to even out the scales a little bit.
Yes. So one thing I'd like to share too, this is one thing that I wanted to talk about in one of my upcoming videos. Let me get this image real quick. I want to talk about alchemy. Alchemy is so important, and it's such a foundational knowledge for us to try to regain and collect and try to really disseminate and hold on to. There's alchemy in literally everything that we do. And that alchemy affects everything that we do as well. So what I came across was the different alchemical processes for the different ages and the different archetypes, which are like Aquarius and, all these other things. And I was like, wow, okay. It is actually an overlay with all of the processes that you can find in alchemy based in the spirit science and stuff. So here we go.
So each element does have a planet that goes with it. And sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Look at this. So look at all this. You have, these are the 12 processes for alchemy. You're going to find this in all alchemical processes, even inside the body, because man is the measure of the universe. So we're here in going into Aquarius, and it's multiplication. So what are we seeing? We're seeing like this multiplication of all these ideas. They're just bursting out everywhere. And, online, you have just, it's like mass chaos. If you go on the internet, you could spend, oh my gosh, the rest of your life just surfing through things, ideas. But that's what Aquarius represents, because Aquarius is an air sign. These little symbols here are basically frequency. It's supposed to be like water waves, but it's actually like, what are we learning right now? We're learning all about frequency. And this is what the frequency waves look like. They're sine waves. It's just fascinating knowledge. But, in Pisces, we went through this whole projection. And that's with all of the religion that came about. So they were projecting their consciousness onto other people, and other people were then projecting their consciousness onto others. And when you really look at this and you go, wow, So this is what it means to really start learning about all of the natural processes in the world. Because if you were to sit down in a lab and use each of these different experiments, you would find that there's only these 12 and you can't do anything more than that. So who wrote the script? Well, a greater consciousness than we can even know created everything in existence. And then here we are as precipitates of that consciousness.
Now, keep in mind the goal of all alchemy, they told the kings they were trying to turn lead into gold, but all that is it just means that they're trying to make the person a more spiritual person.
Yes.
Essentially, that is the entire goal of all of it. And the different ages that we're in, I believe in reincarnation. And so we come back, I could have been here in the last age, and there was something that I needed to learn in this experience in Earth, let's say in the age of Libra. And then, right now, I was learning something in the age of Pisces as we transition into Aquarius. And so it's all about learning and transforming ourselves to be better.
Yes, absolutely. That's the entire goal and purpose of us being here. But this is what science does not want to touch upon. They get too much money to go out and look into things that are not spiritual related. And it was people like Marcel Vogel and Nikola Tesla, these other, scientists and people who were actually touching upon some of the spiritual laws of nature, and Rudolf Steiner. All these people were trying to bring about science and spirituality together because they belong in one unit instead of separate.
Absolutely belong in one unit. We are missing so much.
But the problem is, with this technology, we are not spiritually adept to be able to handle this kind of technology, to know that this has implications. That's why it's being set up as a trap for the consciousness of other souls. Mm-hmm. So, it's just something to consider for the future.
Absolutely.
So, but I wanted to share. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm that person. I'm that weirdo that just says, "Oh, you're going to make me give you my cell phone number as part of signing up for whatever service you have." No, I won't do it. That's why I'm in this debacle about the online payment systems. I'm like, no,
that's going to be a hard one, Ellen. You're going to have to figure that out, because otherwise, at some point you have to pay the bills. You know what I mean? And as sad as that is, there's got to be a way. Yeah, there's got to be a way for us to use this technology and mentally say, I do not consent. And, I don't know. There's got to be a way for us to shift the energy to the positive somehow.
Yes. I mean, I just don't know, maybe there will be some sort of system that's not online. Maybe that will still be in play where we can have some sort of currency instead of participating in the online system. Because what are the Amish going to do? What are these other tribes? What are people in remote places of the world going to do when they can't use a digital currency because they have no technology?
The thing is they don't need it. But they don't need it.
And, exactly.
But unfortunately, people like you and I are not part of those groups. And so, perhaps those groups need to be formed. Like the Amish, they're very independent. Yes, they do use technology, but if it got snatched away, wouldn't faze them a bit. Wouldn't faze Eskimo, people who live in tribes and circles and things. It doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter to them.
Yes. And that's what I like. That's why when I look around at, where I am in the United States, I'm like, I don't want to be here. This is not where I want to be. Because I want to be in a community-based living situation where everybody's helping each other. But where do you go for that? Because I don't know anybody that does that anymore.
I got to tell you, I took a trip over the hill to California, and up over the pass there's nothing. First of all, there was a big fire. All the trees are burned. A lot of them are having what they call beetle kill. I'm not entirely sure it's all beetle kill, though, but the forest is dying. And I noticed something odd there, and I have a picture of it. I'll send it to you. Maybe you can put it up or something. There's these towers. It's not a cell phone tower. It's not a light tower. It is very large. It's above the treetops, and it has like lights off the top of it. And I don't know, I couldn't get it was way, why is this thing here? It's so remote up there. You know, when you're up at the top, there just isn't much. And then when I started coming back down home, down into, you know, the city here, I was going through another smaller town, and I started noticing, oh my gosh, there's one on the freeway. And it's not because you see the freeway lights, you know, the light poles. This is something entirely different. And remember when I told you how they're changing our water? It's now smart water, and you don't have a choice in this. And this guy who was doing it, I told him, I do not want this. I don't want your new smart meter. There's nothing wrong with mine. I mean, they had to drill with this huge truck, drill this huge piece of piping out. You know how much money it's costing them to do that? All for these smart meters. And you know, that technology affects our water. You and I need to do a video on just water and how important it is. It is so important. When it's being bombarded with these frequencies, it is not good. It's not good.
But the thing is, well, the thing to know about that is you can actually alter the water through your consciousness.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. So that's.
I want to talk about that right now.
They're doing all this effort. Yes.
Yeah,
okay. Go ahead.
So I will. Okay, let's talk about this. So there's a Japanese scientist. In fact, I happen to have the book.
Yeah, Dr. Masaru Emoto.
Yeah, this is what it looks like. Everybody should have this. Changed my life.
Yeah.
So really quickly here, basically, he's a Japanese scientist. He froze this water, looked at it under a microscope, and based on the words that were said to the water, and also thoughts, believe it or not, were just the same that were said to the water. These are negative. See how they don't form any type of crystal? They're just negative. Now, when the water is said positive, it forms crystals, beautiful crystals. Okay, so our water is like a supercomputer on steroids. It can be programmed. If you guys are to change the way you think about water, acknowledge that it is alive. Think of it as a living being, and it's going to affect your body. And yep, there it is. There it is. So here's what I'm going to tell you. If you have it, it'd be nice if you had a water filter system. It'd be great. If you don't, fine, whatever, doesn't matter. If you're to take the water as it comes out of the tap, it is stressed out. It's been had fluoride put in it. It's been pure. You put all these chemicals to get rid of, you know, whatever it is. It's been sitting in pipes that are, you know, who knows how old they are. It's basically really stressed out when it comes out of your faucet. Bottled water is 10 times worse. It's sitting in plastic, which is very detrimental to your health. It can be PBA free all you want. It's still plastic. So the best thing you can do, and this is again an Ayurvedic, it's from Ayurveda. Copper, a copper cup will reset your water so that it can be easily programmed. Silver does also. Both of those things are highly antibacterial. So is brass. And all you have to do is grasp your water with 2 hands, have some reverence for it, and take a moment to say thank you. You can even write on the bottom, if you have a water filter, or on your, you know, your cup, I love you, thank you for healing me, whatever it is. When you're in the shower, thank your water. Okay, when you're in the bath, thank your water. I promise you, you will notice a difference. If you take bottled water and then you take water that's been sitting in a copper cup or a silver cup, or even if it's in just a glass cup, and you program the glass cup or the copper cup or whatever, it will taste silky. It will taste smooth. It tastes almost like, it's almost airy. And it can actually heal your body. Water is so important. If we just respected it a little bit more, that's just one of those things that touches us all, and we can begin to change the earth.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're talking about the etheric principle too, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So water is in absolutely everything because water is crystalline. It is the crystalline structure that our world is composed of. And this is a dream world that we're in. So when we give gratitude to the water, it's going to resonate outward into fields of light energy that touches everything else. This is why our world is starting to fade and die, is because there's not enough love in the
Yeah.
world. We're the creators of love and light. And our world is dying because our consciousness is missing from it.
Mm.
When we reconnect with it and we give it the gratitude and the awareness that it needs to nurture it back into health, then that's when, we will start thriving again as well, instead of seeing all this darkness. We're about to hit a golden spring. So I do suspect that things will turn around. Even with the chemtrails and all that stuff, all of this is coming to a head right now. And we're just going to see it amp up while the dark winter is going to fade. But,
Well, our sun is going through changes. And our sun having electrical and magnetic properties, the earth is magnetic, and us too, it is going to change our consciousness. And I believe they're trying to stop that awakening by all of the toxins that we've been introduced to.
Yes.
And but it's not going to stop us. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to have fancy water filters or special crystals or whatever. All you need is your positive attitude, just, feeling love, being grateful. Go outside, touch the earth.
Yes. Yes. It's all about us. That's what they do not want us to know. This is why they were doing all this stuff, trying to re-legion our minds to their purpose and their cause, to keep us scared about all of these other occult and esoteric subjects. All is knowledge. Everything in existence is nothing but pure knowledge. And what you do with the knowledge is the most important thing. Now, just on that note, the Rosicrucians, that order is about love and unity. So if anybody is interested in, signing up, I do highly recommend it, because what it does is it teaches you balance. It teaches you to be emotionally balanced within yourself by doing your meditations. This is all your own inner work too. Mm-hmm. They just guide you on your path to self-awareness. And the things that are going to be found within yourself are going to be the most profound revelations as we go through these times where we're in an ascension, because the sun is in an exaltation where it is now changing. The whole universe construct is going in a direction, and we're expanding in awareness. And because of this expansion that's happening, everything is going to be illuminated. Even the things that you did not know were inside of you, your capabilities. Maybe you become more, extrasensory perceptive with other different things, like your clairvoyance, your clairaudience. I've started actually seeing movement in my peripheral from little light orbs, and then
you've been seeing that for a while now.
Yeah, yes.
I've been seeing that for a while.
There's like little, I don't know if they're entities or what, but this is another thing that the Rosicrucians were teaching. That's what's in that video that I have up on my channel, is that they're teaching you about all these other entities that are in the astral realm. And the astral exists just outside of our visual spectrum. And we're going to be able to go there through astral projection. So the Rosicrucian order is an order, it's a mystic order. And it's to teach you the foundations to gain this balance, to be able to center yourself in your emotional states and everything, so that you can handle a lot of what we're about to go through. And I think when I found it, I was like, this is the step one for everything else that is to come. And I think it's amazing, because once you join their order, you're attached to their egregore. The egregore is a collective consciousness. Mm-hmm. There are consciousnesses that are watching you as you progress through their order. And if you step out of line, you will be rejected from their order. That's how serious this stuff is. And we have not been taking spirituality that serious, but they're always watching. There's always a higher consciousness watching everyone else. That was even described in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, how the master was able to watch everyone in all these different planes of existence. And I've seen some of these different gurus out in India, where they're doing all these crazy memorization tests. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my mind would explode with some of the stuff these people are doing.
There is a book you should read. It's called Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. And it is very eye-opening. And it explains a lot of this. And it explains a lot of your powers that you have that have been repressed, or you don't know how to use, or you don't know what to do with them. So it's interesting because my father went in for some sort of a procedure, and he likes to talk to people about stuff like this. In fact, he's the one who told me to read that. And he was talking to this lady about this book, and she goes, my great uncle was on that expedition. And he goes, you're kidding me.
Wow.
She goes, no, I have the manuscripts, the typed manuscripts. So she actually let him have them to make copies. And I have a copy of it. And it just goes to show you that this is not fiction. This is real. So again, teachings of the Masters of the Far East.
Yes.
And it's amazing. It's amazing. Beautiful.
Well, there's so many different books that are so valuable, to this kind of line of thinking. And as we progress forwards, we are headed to amazing times for these revelations and things that are now here. And just imagine for one moment what Atlantis and Lemuria were actually like, because those people were adept at creating with the etheric principle and using their mind power. This is what we're gunning for. The whole goal of being spiritual is how to use the spiritual principles in the physical realm, and to make reality just like you would in your own dreams. When you become lucid in a dream, you can literally do anything. That's what the goal is here, is to be able to use all of the different collected knowledge and to work with other people, because you can't do it alone. This is about the sound frequencies that they require the male and female specifically to be able to tone together, to use those cymatic frequencies to create things in the etheric realm. Now, they're talking about quantitatively that they were able to not only teleport items, but they are able to use the quantum computers to create things from thin air. What they're doing is using dark technology for the things that we are actually innately capable of. That's what's happening right now. And because we're in this distorted reality, because we're on different levels of awareness and thinking, and we're going out in different directions like this, we're not able to come together to harness our innate abilities.
Well, and they're keeping us divided in everything, even down to sports, which people think, put your kids in sports. You got to everything sports. You're good if you're, it's actually not, because you're competing and against one another. Everything is division, everything. And if we were to stop all that and come together, we would be so powerful.
Yes. This is what they do not want. They do not want us obtaining the keys to our own world. And so in order to do that, you create as much chaos as possible. You keep people divided on every level. You keep them financially divided, spiritually divided. I mean, literally everything to stop them so that you can control them. And I've said it many times that Saudi Arabia is quite literally, possibly, in my world, in my deduction of everything, looking into all the events of the world, Saudi Arabia is at the helm of literally everything that's going on, and that they're pulling the strings. Because when you know that in the age of Gemini, the beginning of the golden age was when this whole idea and concept of Atlantis being this beautiful world, because Gemini is the energy of brotherly love. It's male and female in balance. Even the symbol of Gemini, which is two parallel lines, represents the buildings that they're calling Greco-Roman. And pure white is also symbolic of higher knowledge. It's the higher. They knew that white was the incorporation of all colors. And they wore white. This is the Orphic mysteries. When you get into the Greek stuff where they only wore white garments, and it was one garment that they would, like a sheet that they would wear, because everything was one back then. Well, that energy is just amazing. And I've kind of lost my train of thought because
Let's
I
go
get up
back to the Saudi Arabia, because
Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
it used to be tropical. They
Yes.
have evidence, well, based on, the Sphinx and the rain patterns.
Yes.
And
I'm
all
getting
of this
chills.
stuff.
I'm getting chills right now.
Yeah, so you might be onto something, because what happens when sacred temples and things are destroyed or misused for bad energy? So there's a saying or legend or what have you, that the genies, they're good and bad. Yeah, so they're good and bad. They're the fire spirits, but they reside in the hot and dry places. And it is quite possible that they are working with the negative beings of that world to put out a lot of this technology. Their cities and it's, I don't even know. I don't even, I would love to go there, actually.
I don't really have a desire to go to like Dubai or anything. I mean, it's so technologically advanced, and it screams this whole narrative that we've been talking about with the deception of artificial intelligence. I mean, I've been saying it time and time again. I've broken it down that they're the last king of the dome. They suppress the divine feminine. This is also why they live in a desert. When you suppress the women in your lands,
It's not good.
The earth energy, the fire energy takes over. The fire air principle, which is the yang energy, takes over.
Mhm.
And the yin energy is eliminated. This is why they're also in a desert, not only because of the great war that, was ensued over there that destroyed everything, and then they shot lasers over here at Lemuria or something, but they live in a desert. Why would anyone want to live in a desert arid region? But number two, the jinn are controlled through gemstones. This is another video that I'm formulating. I've collected all this stuff. I have all these tabs open on my computer right now from this whole notion that certain colored gemstones are required to control certain types of jinn, and it's not easy.
Let me explain why. I have some explanation for that. In Ayurveda, the gemstones actually, they're alive, essentially. They're crystals and they're alive, but they impart a certain energy, and each gemstone is tied to a particular planet and that type of energy. And so it completely makes sense that these entities are controlled by them, because a lot of those entities may even come through those planets or be from those planets or something. It makes complete sense. Not all gemstones are evil. In fact, gems are used in medicine. They're used to heal. The ones that you can't have them heated or artificially dyed or artificially created. They just won't work. They have to be natural, raw. They don't have to be raw, they can be cut, but they have to be natural. And they give vibrations and energy that physically help the human body. But back to you, they can also be used to control things like negative entities.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. So like in every aspect of this world, there's duality. No matter what you're talking about, when you're talking about gems, you're talking about people, you're talking about, earth elements and things. There's always a duality, a double side. So you have what you call good and evil. Supposedly it's all the same thing. It's all one unit. It's just polarities, opposite polarities from one to the other. And with these jinn, and I suspect this, that the crystals of all kinds, stones, crystals, all these things are actually different, either crystallized blood from giants, like specific elemental type giants, or there's something there, because crystals in general have a consciousness of their own. They grow from the earth.
So let me tell you, you're onto something there, because there's Native American lore where the crystals are frozen water, and water is the lifeblood of the earth. So you have a connection there. And so you may be right.
Yeah, well, I'm just based on all of this different weird research that I do, I come across little things, and then some other aspect in my mind tells me, it starts filling in the gaps and connecting, and I go, oh my God, because it just hits me. Because I'm trying to connect with my spirit more, especially with these meditations and stuff. Let me tell you, when you start doing this, you really start getting the insight and wisdom that you need. So, so the Saudi Arabia, they've created the Neom city, Neom, which is Neo in the Matrix. It uses Neo and the M for Matrix. And then they have Sophia, which is, they've granted her citizenship, but their own women, they treated this robot, this female robot, with all this, giving her all this ability, but their own women, it's like a disgrace. It's like a slap into the face of their own women, that this robot has more power than they do, because Sophia demanded that she be closed up in a room and nobody disturb her until she was finished making whatever robot she was going to make. And they allowed her to do that. Here's some stuff. You do it.
I hadn't heard that.
Yes, go look up these stories. So, and then the line, this is what really got me too. They live in a desert, right? Mm-hmm. With all this sand. They're creating from Neom in the east all the way to the west of Saudi Arabia. They're creating a city that's going to be artificial, 100% artificial intelligence operated and all that stuff. It's going to be called The Line, and it's going to have mirrored walls. Can you imagine? This is for the future of the battle, when people actually learn, when everybody else comes online and goes, Saudi Arabia, you guys have been pumping out that black crude oil, which is a barrier that keeps the jinn from, or not even the jinn, just the dark spirits from coming up into our world. That barrier is there for a reason, and it's black for a reason, because it's Saturnian, but people don't know this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. And they've been, we support pumping that out, but they've been pumping it out of the ground continually where they are. Why? And you think about the implications of that. You're like, wait a minute. What's happening right there is, like, in a spiritual aspect, that's dark. That's really dark. And then, just the way they are over there. I mean, in some aspects, they're respectable, but at the same time, they're not, because what are they doing to the rest of us? They somehow, I feel, now this is my deduction and reasoning, my mind is coming up with this, because I'm like, maybe they use the jinn to go into people, or maybe just spirits or something. Maybe they're using people like automatons, like they can just talk to the jinn. They possess a person's body and make them go out and do the crazy stuff, like what the Rothschilds are doing, the Red Shield, family and all. Because Red Shield, it just means that they had blood all over their shield. People don't know all these things, this dark, deceptive force. Where does it emanate from? This is where my mind goes, because I'm like, it doesn't stop at just one person or one organization or the Illuminati. Let me tell you what the Illuminati means. Illuminati means illuminated mind. Mm-hmm. The highest level in the Rosicrucian order is Illuminati. And that is a degree that you get once you have truly awakened to your divine countenance within, without black magic, without, other weird stuff.
So I have to tell you that I think, and I've been pondering this for years actually, because you hear both. You hear the Illuminati is the root of all evil, but when you really look into the Illuminati, it has nothing to do with evil. It's being enlightened. But then you've got all the celebrities doing this and whatever with the pyramid, and they're making it evil and they're twisting it. And you have to remember, guys, that our world, it's like the upside down. What we think is right is wrong. And
Absolutely.
it really takes, a different set of eyes to see things clearly.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot is all I know. I mean, this is my whole, my deductive reasoning on who's at the helm of all this. I mean, it's not just one group either. I mean, they obviously have employed other beings. And I suspect those other beings have come from a prison that was beneath the ground that was they were placed there by these other beings, us in a higher consciousness state. They actually use their power together to put these entities back in their place beneath the ground. And now they've been unleashed again upon the world. And that this is just a continual cycle that happens repeatedly throughout the great wheel of time. It's kind of what I see.
There's a lot going on for sure. There's a lot, I think we're yet to see a lot of things that are coming to light, which is really good. And we just have to stay strong through all of this, because it's going to be overwhelming for some people. It really is. And we just have to give our little bits of wisdom here and there. That's all we do.
I know. And with that note, we can just do a quick tarot reading on what's to come. How about that? Let's do something. Or why don't we have somebody just say, what do we want to do a tarot reading on? And I'll just pull the cards real quick. And you guys can have your individual tarot card readings done. We do accept donations for our efforts, because we all got to survive,
Right?
Unfortunately, we need money, guys. And I'm just like, I'm not that person that, wants to beg, but it's starting to come down to that, because things get tight and I'm like, this stinks. I don't want to play this game anymore, this whole money game. And believe me, I am seriously like going through some stuff, because I see it as a great deception. I'm like, I just don't want to play this game anymore. The whole money and going to work, and I can't do it. So my world is shrinking, is all I can say. And I'm like, well, I guess if it goes, it goes. And I'll just be on foot. Whatever. I mean, it's by my design, because my consciousness, I can't seem to drag myself out of this crux, whatever this is that's going on.
When we're done here, Ellen, I want you to show me how to view the comments, because I keep looking and I'm not doing it right. But anyway, back to your tarot.
Yeah, there's actually a chat box that's in the live stream. If you go to it online, you go click on the live stream and there will be a chat. And you can join in the chat there.
Yes.
Oh, the Arizona Ravens asking if we're going to have a pole shift. I'll tell you what the pole shift is us. It's us with our light. The consciousness, what they call Jesus, is the light within us as well as the sun. And it's illuminating the darkness right now. So that's your pole shift.
Well, if you want to talk about actual physical things that are going on, a really good channel to follow is Adapt 2030. And are our poles shifting? Yes, the magnetic poles have changed significantly.
They was expanding, yes.
They are continuing to come together and shift and move. And there's a lot of information out there. Like I said, we're going through a very interesting cycle right now. And these cycles have toppled empires again and again and again.
Yes.
And we need to be spiritually prepared. That's really the bottom line. All
Well,
of us are going to die. Doesn't matter if the pole shifts.
yeah.
You know, we're in a meat suit and we're not here forever. You know, is it a good idea to prepare yourself physically? It is. Is it a good idea to have food and water on hand? Yes, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Everybody should. Just, you know, if there's a weather event and you're 2 weeks without power, you should be able to live and take care of your family for that 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Listen, we will
Um,
always get what we need, no matter what. So look, I'm pulling a couple cards. I'm pulling a couple cards for our future, our
Okay.
future reading. I'm just going to do two because it's duality, right?
Yes.
So I pulled the Prince of Swords. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm doing some tarot stuff, Rex. Rex just joined us.
Hi, Rex.
Rex Bear from Leech Project.
Rex there. I watched your
yeah,
videos for 100 years. Go ahead, Ellen.
no,
Since you're
probably
back in grandma's basement.
you got the old school people right here, Rex.
Yeah.
I've watched him probably since 2014 or so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so this Prince of Swords, it says courtly but strong-willed. The Prince of Swords, and when we're talking about sword, we're talking about fire principle. We're dealing with the 4 elements of alchemy. And he uses language so that there can be no confusion about his intentions. He's a messenger bringing needed information or clarity.
There we are. We're bringing information and clarity.
Listen, I'm telling you, like, it's uncanny the kind of readings that I pull. I do basically the intuition. I intuit which cards to pull, and then I pull them. And I don't just pull them from the top.
So what you guys have to realize with the tarot, this is not evil spirits we're grasping. This is not, you're literally accessing your higher self. That's how any sort of divining works, dowsing, any of this. It works by accessing your higher self, and it will give you truth. It will give you truth.
Yes, I'm just making jokes in the chat here. Rex is always saying nanu nanu. I said Nana says she loves you. I'm just making stuff up. Okay, and so the other card that I pulled was the 4 of Staves. 4 of Staves. So we're talking about wands, and wands are an air sign. We're talking about magic now. So it's part of the etheric principle. And yeah, I'm learning these tarot cards, guys, so y'all have to be patient with me. I still have to read from the little guide. 4 is an alchemical number, though, for the 4 elements.
So the Chinese were very afraid of the number 4, and they felt like it was an evil number. To kind of like we are afraid of 13, they were afraid of 4, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if it's kind of like a wild card. I wonder if that's what it is, because if you're talking about 4, you're talking about not only that, you know, quadruplicy, I don't know, but you're talking about the 4 elements. The 4 elements, and it could be like any one of them, I guess. And if it's bad, I don't know. Let's see. It says 4 staves are tied together by generous garlands of flowers. They suggest the stable foundation of a home. You see what these two cards together? We're coming into greatness. I'm telling y'all, I manifested here, you know, I incarnated here to be a part of this whole dynamic of this huge change that we're about to go through, because we're leaving the old fiat currency system. We're going into a new currency system. It's going to change everything that we do in our lives. It's like this whole dynamic. We're going to come into a golden spring, and it's going to last. The fourth turning, the book, The Fourth Turning, is that guy says that it's about every 20 years, there's a seasonal change. So with those changes comes greater awareness. And it's just like what we're doing now with the great winter that we're, you know, being exposed to, this shining all the light on this darkness. And this darkness is screaming in agony because it's trying to go in every direction, and it has nowhere to hide. And somebody's taking care of it, is all I got to say. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention. So, not to change the subject, but just for a brief moment, I wanted to talk about this whole notion, because it keeps popping into my mind, about the Skinwalker Ranch. This is another reason why we need to dive more deeply into spiritual aspects and things that we see in movies, Harry Potter with the animagus and stuff. The Skinwalker Ranch, when they talk about these entities that can shift form, those can also be humans, basically. Maybe not our body style, but humanoid people that can transform using their consciousness, because they're adept at this stuff. They can transform into anything, literally. Certain ones have focused only on certain animals, but you can do this when you have become a magi, a master of mind. That's the stuff that this waits for us at the end of this road that we're on right now.
Well, skinwalkers in a Native American tradition, I believe, were shamans that have maybe gone a way that they shouldn't have. And are there skinwalkers? Probably. I mean, this world is not what we think it is.
No, it's a dense holographic dream. And believe me, I've seen some weird stuff and experienced some weird things in my life that I can't explain, and I don't know anybody else that's experienced these things. I'll talk about that on another chat. But yeah, there's a great book you guys can look up. It's The Complete Works of Charles Fort. That book will illuminate your mind on what the possibilities are in this world, because these are some of the recorded incidences of some of the strangest phenomena ever recorded in history. And that book,
Go ahead.
No, I have that book based on a recommendation by Jordan Maxwell. So
okay. Yeah. I just want everybody to remember, it doesn't matter what's going on here in this physical plane. And I know you talk a lot about Saturn, Ellen, and I have some different views on Saturn than you do, which is fine. We're entitled to, our own ideas of thinking. Not that yours are wrong, but we're here for a reason. We're here to learn. Every negative experience we have, it teaches us something, and that's really the bottom line of what Saturn is about.
Yes.
And all this stuff that's going on, some of it's here to distract us from what's really important. So we might be on an alien hunt waiting for, the spaceships to come and take us over or whatever. But it's just a distraction from what is really important. And we have to remember what's important. It's love. It's loving one another. It's being kind to one another. And it's, trying to do something for someone else whenever you can. And just remember, every negative experience you have, it does not matter what it is, you're going to learn something from it. And it's going to be beneficial to you, whether you see it then or not. Someday down the line, you will.
Yes, absolutely. No, I have no fears of Saturn. I've actually given him gratitude for the lessons that I have been learning. And Saturn seems to leave me alone with my car now, because I've recognized Saturnian black cars are, they have that Saturnian energy. And, Saturn challenges Aquarius.
So remember, black is also our mother.
Yeah,
black is also the earth. Black is also,
it's yin.
It's not just Saturn energy. It's but that's for another podcast. I actually have to get going.
I know I've probably kept you too long.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine. I have a little one to put to bed. So
oh yeah. Now this has been fun, and that was an interesting card pull for what the future reading is.
That is interesting.
Well, listen, thanks everybody for joining us on our little romp on our rant here. We just wanted to have a little chat.
Yeah, for anybody who's interested, if you want, some help with your house or anything like that, my email is lostwaysfound@gmail.com. I also have a channel, which I'm not really good at putting information out on, but I'm working on it. And I'll try to get some more content, because I do have a lot of knowledge that I think could really help people. So there it is.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm just going to put up our emails for those people who wish to get in touch with us. Those are going in the chat. And yeah, thanks again, everybody, for joining us. We do offer, these readings and all kinds of things. We're going to just have some fruits of our labors here, our efforts to try to put something out in the world, because, yeah, we got to find a new sustainable reality.
Would be ideal. Doing what we love to do. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, helping people really, because listen, when I do those sessions and I know I'm helping someone in the best possible way that I can, it's amazing. And I've had nothing but like people saying how much it helped them.
I can't wait to have one. I'm
to
excited.
have a hypnosis session. It's amazing, amazing work, I have to say. So with that, I'm going to bid you adieu.
Okay, until next Wednesday at 7 Pacific.
Yeah, 7 Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will see you next Wednesday, guys.
All right.
So enjoy your evening. Bye.
Have a good night, everybody.